To show you this, what I got bacon and eggs gummies. Bacon and eggs gummies. Now listen, I prefer them scrambled rather than slurry side up or whatever. And my bacon I prefer crispy. So how do you do a gummy bacon? It probably tastes good, but I'll choke on it while I'm preaching, so I'm not going to do that. But the eggs. The astronauts eat these in space, I bet, right? That's probably, okay, I don't know. They'll probably show it. Yeah, I just had to share that with you. Okay. Hey, did you know that when I get done here, so like I finish preaching or teaching here, that I go down the kids' wing every Sunday to see the rest of the congregation? Because we're all in here, right? But then the rest of the congregation is down that hallway. So I go out during that first song of our worship time together. I go out and I go down that hallway and just visit all the kids' classrooms, because kids are important. And so today I'm just letting you know ahead of time. I have a targeted moment that I'm going to. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, although I guess I could with these. But I'm coming straight to you with a question today. I want to talk to you about our kids. Our kids, and more than just those that are in this building. And I want to talk to you about our responsibilities with our kids. We have some responsibilities. Children are a gift from God, and not just biologically. I believe children are a gift from God supernaturally. Some of you parents are like, you haven't met my kids. They are beautifully and wonderfully made. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says that they were created for His purposes, to know Him, to know His love for them. And whether they are our children specifically, or the children around us, we have to take a for them posture toward them. And listen, it's in our culture. It's like, I don't have time for that. I'm done with that portion of my life. I pray over our kids that they would honor God, that they would love Him, know Him, worship Him, glorify Him. Those are my prayers for our kids, because without that, we're in serious trouble. I think of my own grown children. I have 4 grown children out of the house now. We just had our 9th grandchild, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, and so there's this moment that I go, my job is done, but that is not true. I think about the littles in our home. In our homes, we have little ones in our homes, and I think about the kids in our congregation, the children that we see running around all the time. And I go, man, people used to tell me, oh, the 2s. I go, the 20s. Forget about the 2s. Piece of cake, right? But I think parenting is a sacred duty. It is. It's a sacred duty. And I think about the role that parents play in the nurture and the development of a child. And it brings me to this South African proverb I want to share with you this morning. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the nation and its destiny. Think about it for a moment. The person who's raising that child is creating a future for wherever that child will then lead. Because our kids are paying attention, they are watching, they're listening to everything we say. I could do it. Have you ever done that before? Hey, Isaac, empty the trash. I didn't hear you. And then I turn to my bride and I say, hey, do you think we should get ice cream? Are we getting ice cream? 3 blocks away. Anyone? Selective hearing. I know because I know, right? But one of the greatest heartaches is experienced by those who have the desire to nurture a young life and yet don't have a child of their own. And I realize, for me, it just grips my heart to see the tears of a woman who wants to be a mother so badly. This was Hannah's predicament. We read about this last Wednesday in 1 Samuel. Hannah was in that place. And I see it and I go, Wednesday morning, she aches so deeply because she wants to be a mother in the midst of her barrenness. And so she cries out to God. If you have your apps, open them up this morning. I want to get going here. I've got some stuff for you. I got some notes. I got some things I want to share with you. I have some blanks for you, right? It's an open book test, so let's try and take some notes in this thing. I got announcements. And by the way, congratulations, we passed 100 days. 100 days, what? Right? I was like, we did the 100-day challenge last September, October, November, whatever it was, October, November, December. And people were like, there's no way we're going to do this. And then we did 100 days. Now we just passed another 100 days. So congratulations to you. Hey, by the way, if you're like behind, you're like, oh, I'm so behind. Start today. Just pick it up today. You are right now reading more of the Bible you were on your own than you are as you join us in this journey together. If you want more information, there is the Bible recap booth. It's out there. But I just keep crossing off the days, man. I'm getting ready to turn this page. I'm so excited. I survived the Old Testament. New Testament. I'm like, okay, but we got to get through all of September to get there. All right. So I know. But we'll get there. You trust me, you go, oh, I did that. I finished the Old Testament. It's amazing. So here's what's happening. I see this story here in 1 Samuel chapter 1. And I see it and I go, man, what more is here? And so I start to dig. I begin the digging on it. This is our first fill-in, if you're just to get us started today. When we're in pain, there's no better place to go than to God. I have a full-on, my pull-down menu for when I'm in pain. I don't know what your pull-down menu is. We all try to write our own prescriptions, right? So we smoke it, drink it, eat it, shop for it, spend it, buy it, because one of these things is going to take away the pain that I'm looking at coming down the pipe. Everybody know what I'm talking about? I see it happening and I go, I don't want to face that. So let's go shopping. Amazon will have it here tomorrow. So we try substances, all kinds of them, to make the pain go away. But here's the first thing that I get from Hannah. There is no better place to go than to God. But we attempt all of those. We just pull on the pull-down menu. Oh, I could try that. Oh, I've done that before. That didn't last as long as I wanted to. And we just keep going on a pull-down menu. We're looking for something to alleviate the pain. I want to avoid the pain. And consistently, I see it. Go to God. Go to God. Go to God. And then that's where she finds comfort. Psalm 34 says that God is close to, listen to this, to the brokenhearted. You ever have a moment like that? The words can't come out because you're so hurt, because you're so betrayed, because the confidence that you had in someone, turns out they didn't really deserve the confidence you put in them. There's all kinds of ways to have a broken heart. But the Bible says the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. It may be one of life's greatest gifts, the context of what we're talking about this morning, to become a mother or a father, but it's also one of life's greatest responsibilities. It's huge. I'm overwhelmed at being a father. It's amazing the responsibility to be given a precious young life that somehow I'm supposed to shape, mold, and direct without an instruction booklet, right? I mean, they let me leave the hospital with this thing, right? And here's the weird one. I'm like, you were all raised in the same house. How are you even related to that person? Are you related to me? It's like all the different personalities. I had 4 kids, and it's like all the different personalities. I just go, what in the world? Like they need to have an instruction booklet. This one reacts like this when you do that. I'm like, somebody should have told me that. And what happens is that overwhelmedness turns into anxiety, it turns into all kinds of things. I need someone more qualified than me to help in this process. And so as young children, and we had these children, and we brought them to the churches. It's called dedication. It's what happens several times in Scripture. But it says we bring our children into the congregation and we go, hey, need some help, knuckleheads right here, so need some help with this one. And we're giving this gift that was given to us, we're giving that child back to God because we know ultimately they're His. I have stewardship over them, 18, 20 years. My kids married 18, 19, 20, 21. Nobody told them the rules. Makes me angry. You're supposed to go away to school, come back for spring break, come back for summer, come back for Christmas, go back to school, come back for spring. Nobody, no, we're getting married. Don't do that. I did that. Anybody, what? Okay. But Hannah, what's beautiful is here in 1 Samuel, Hannah points us to who that is, who the helper is that we need. Hannah gives her son to God, literally gives her son to God, and then points us to doing the same. In 1 Samuel, so open up to 1 Samuel. Here I got a little Bible bookshelf for you. We are well into history now. We finished the first books of the law. We've also finished Job out of poetry, but now we're in 1 Samuel. So you have a Bible, you can grab the one out of the chair back. We're in the Old Testament. That's that bookshelf. Come to me. Here we are, 1 Samuel chapter 1. She wants a child. Hannah wants a child, and so much so to demonstrate her desire. In verse 11 of chapter 1, she says, I will make a forever vow, and she calls it a Nazirite vow. Remember what the Nazirites were? We talked about one of them last week. Not allowed to cut their hair. So when you read 1 Samuel and you start reading Samuel interacting with Saul and David, you need to picture Samuel with long hair. And probably nasty hair now that I think about it, right? Because like they didn't have it regularly cut it and comb it and I don't know. Okay. So she says, I'm going to make him a Nazirite. So no cutting hair, no grape products, no dead things. You can't touch dead things. So we read a little bit about that Nazirite vow last week in Numbers, right? But you may say that's a high price to pay for having a child. And I think you'd be right. It was the price God paid when He gave us His only son. And here comes Hannah. She makes this extreme promise for a child she doesn't even have. She's like, I'm barren, I've been barren, nothing's changed, but if you give me a child, here's the deal. I will give that child back to you for their entire life. A razor will never touch his scalp. Will never cut his hair. I'm like, that's happening here in chapter 1, right? And once Samuel was weaned, and that's the unknown number, so I'll let you figure out what that number is. Samuel is weaned. Hannah makes good on her vow, and she goes to God, and she brings her son to Eli, who is the priest in the temple. And here's how it's described in 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 26, 27, 28. Watch this. Here she says, Sir, do you remember me? So there's no relationship here. She doesn't know Eli. It's not like Uncle Eli we see at the family picnic every year, you know. It's not that. It's, hey, do you remember me? Do you remember me? I was here, I stood here it is, several years ago, praying to the Lord. Now you get to discern what several years ago means. Here's for me. Can I have a piece of paper? That means one. Can I have a couple pieces of paper? That means two. Can I have a few? This is just Marty Walker working here, right? It's not Webster or anything. Can I have a few pieces of paper? That's three. Can I have several pieces of paper? That's 4, 5, 6, I don't know. But several is 4 and above. A few is 3, a couple is 2, a is 1. But this says, I was here several years ago. You get to decide what that means. The baby has been weaned. I was here several years ago, and now the baby's been weaned. You tell me, because we don't know, take the guess. I'm guessing 4. That's where I'm kind of putting him. Maybe Samuel is 4, maybe 5. Maybe they breastfed longer in the Old Testament. I don't know. But it just says, hey, I was here several years ago, and I asked, verse 10:27, I asked the Lord to give me this boy, and he's granted my request. Verse 28, now I'm giving him to the Lord, and he will belong to the Lord his whole life. And they worship the Lord there. Take a look closely at verse 28. Because there's this little tiny, literally a little tiny hint going on here. I'm giving him to the Lord, and he will belong to the Lord his whole life, and but it's that little tiny star, the asterisk, that I want to focus on for a moment. And they worship the Lord there. Originally, this translation, and the earliest translations of the Old Testament, the word he was there. Now I'm giving him to the Lord, and he will belong to the Lord his whole life, and he worshiped the Lord there. But just watch as I go through this. The he wasn't really clear. It's like, he who? Are we talking about Samuel? Are we talking about Elkanah? Are we talking about Eli? Who's the he in this particular sense? We know it's not Eli. That's pretty clear. It doesn't seem to be Elkanah. So the asterisk points to Samuel. The asterisk points to Samuel, but listen to me. Do it again. He just got weaned. You do the math. So we can't be talking about Samuel because he just got weaned, and it says he worshiped the Lord. 3? How old can you be to worship the Lord? All we have is he just got weaned. So she brought him in. And Samuel worshiped the Lord. People, please wrestle with me. Who's he talking about? Naturally, I look at that and I go, it's Samuel. He will belong to the Lord his whole life, and he worshiped the Lord there. But it can't be Samuel if he's 3, 4. He worshiped the Lord? I'm concerned, right? It's not clear who he is. And then the stunning question happens, right? If that's Samuel, how does he know how to worship the Lord? Listen, you do your guess at it. I got my own guess. I'm saying 4, maybe 5. He could worship the Lord. It's noted, he worshiped the Lord. And I go, what? How do you learn how to do that? Children are like sponges. Oh, man. When I hear my kids say something, I'm like, where did you do from me? Anyone know what I'm talking about? It's like, what? Where did you come up with that? You said it last night. Go. They say the things, kids say the darndest things after their parents say the darndest things. Right? It's amazing, right? Kids are sponges. And so I see this and I'm thinking, what's going on? They soak up everything around them. How did he learn to worship? He learned from the only people around him. His parents. His parents taught him. Look at chapter 2. Watch this. Chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Watch this. This is Hannah's prayer. So keep this in mind. Watch this. I have no kids. I've not been able to have kids. I can't have kids. It's been pretty sad. My husband has other wives. He's got other kids, but not through me. But he loves me, so we're staying here. But I can't have kids. And finally, I have a kid. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him away to a stranger. Trustworthy stranger, but gives him away. This is serious business. In just a few verses. So she comes in, she says, Eli, I'm making good on the promise. Do you remember me? I'm making good on the promise I made several years ago. Boop, this is your responsibility now. I'm like, is he potty trained? So he's weaned. I just need to know he's potty, no diapers, okay. Watch this. Then she prays. Chapter 2, verse 1. My heart rejoices in the Lord. Listen to these words. This is Hannah's prayer. My heart rejoices in the Lord. The Lord has made me strong. Now I have an answer for my enemies. I rejoice because you rescued me. No one is holy like the Lord. There is no one beside you. There is no rock like our God. Who do you think taught Samuel how to pray? Ding, 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 ding. What in the world? Hey, beloved, please see. I just read the first two verses of this prayer. It keeps going 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's like she just keeps going. That's just the opening lines of this prayer. I go, that woman knows how to pray. And I bet you that's how he learned how to worship. Hannah rejoices in the Lord. He is my salvation. In just a few verses, Hannah praises the might, the power of the Lord. These aren't just words. They're a reflection of her heart. And from her heart, her mouth is speaking. At one point, there is no rock like our God. Jesus told a parable about a rock. He told a parable about two houses that one was built on sand and one was built on a rock. And then he says, the house that was built on sand, the storms came, the winds blew, the rain piled against it and knocked that house down. But all the same things happened from this house to this house, but this house didn't fall because it was built on the rock. Hannah's mentioning it right here. Before we got it in Psalm 40, I'll stand on the rock in the miry clay, right? I'll stand on the rock. Before it came up there, Hannah was saying, he's a rock. I can stand on him. He is dependable. The purpose of Jesus' parable was to lead us to build our lives on the rock. He says, this is the firm foundation. This truth, what we learn here in Matthew 7. I go, right, the rock. But here's what I get out of Samuel. Hannah built her life on the rock. You can hear it. You are my salvation. You're the one who's dependable. She knew there was no firmer foundation. She set an example of worship to her son. I'm like, wow. How could she do that? Hannah had a personal relationship with God that fueled her trust, it fueled her commitment and her life. And our relationship with God, as I see it, our relationship with God through Christ can also fuel our trust, our commitment, and our life, right? Which leads me to a few questions. Here's the questions I want us to wrestle with this morning. Can our children trust God? I think they can, if they see us trusting God. Can our children trust God? I think they can, if they see us trusting God. Here's the second question. Can our children serve God? I think the answer is yes, if they see us serving God. Right? Listen, what did I say? Children are like sponges. We all went, mm-hmm. Everybody shook their head. Everybody agreed. Yep, kids follow us. Kids are watching us, whether we like it or not. We think we're all alone. And what did you, well, you said that last night when you and Mom were talking. I'm like, last question, can our children worship God? I believe the answer is yes, when they see us worshiping God. 3 questions I want to wrestle with. Can they trust, serve, and worship God? Our children will trust God when they see us trusting God. When they see us come into a circumstance where we go, can't afford it today. You know, put it on the card. We'll borrow from next month. Yeah, but we're already really behind on our payments. That doesn't matter. We can't afford it now, but I want it now. So I'm going to trust MasterCard and Visa. And that's where I'm going to put my trust. And our children see it. And then they go, so I can get what I want now too. I don't have to trust God for stuff. I can just figure out a way to make it happen for today, and then I can have it because I want it today. Can they serve God? Nope. We're too busy. We've got too many things going on. Church called, and they want to do this, and we're going to do that, but I just don't have time. I remember as a youth pastor, I took 14 kids down to the Tijuana dump. People lived in the Tijuana dump. And we were there for a little over a week. And we were restocking their water supply. Again, imagine a dump, and people are living in the dump. Not a few people. Hundreds of people live in the dump, and everybody has a job in the dump. So grandpa and grandma and mom and dad and maybe 4 kids or whatever, everybody's got a responsibility. Grandpa, he's pulling out wire, any wire he can find. Grandma's looking for clothes. Dad is looking for recyclables. Mom's looking for more clothes. Food. She was looking for food. Kids are looking for clothing that might fit them, and they're literally just pulling it out and putting it. Nope, not that one. And that, and gospel truth. Grandpa picking up out of a trash bag. Throws it in. They're all carrying bags. They're living in the dump, living off of the dump. They're pulling the recyclables out of there, and they get $4, $5, $6 a week. And I came home from that trip, and I said, my children do not need any clothing. I know the sleeve goes up to here. It's long enough. Right? Their jackets are too small. It's fine. Their shoes are too small. They're fine. I came back. I was whacked. But here's what happened. I want you to hear something. These kids, there was space in their life to take a week to go down and serve people who were less off than they were. Washing babies in the dump. That we literally had hot water. We had a hot water thing, and we'd wash the babies, and the parents would be there. This is how they would bathe. We had 50-gallon drums, and we just filled them with cold, pure water they could drink out of. But here's what struck me. Teenagers knew they had time to serve, and I knew it was because the parents made room in their lives for them to serve, because the parents had room in their lives to serve. Until our kids see us serving, our kids won't serve. Until they see the priorities in our life, our kids follow our priorities. The new fill in the blank, that's what they're after. Lastly, can our kids worship God? I believe Samuel worshiped God because Hannah prayed that prayer. That is clear. That woman worships God. Go ahead and do the math. 2, 3, 4, 5. How old do you want Samuel to be? It says he worshiped the Lord, not like receive it if it's yours. Some of us during worship. Beloved, please hear me. I got a little kid who worships the Lord. I don't know how old he is, but he's worshiping the Lord. That's shocking to me. Because I'm busy thinking about the shrimp special as soon as church gets out. Man, we could we'll just do In-N-Out Burger late for lunch. It'll be cool. The rush will be done. During worship, I'm thinking that. Samuel, who is just weaned, worshiped the Lord there. And it's shocking to me. Beloved, for this to happen, all of us, not just parents, need to set an example. But parents specifically need some come-alongsiders. To take on the role of exemplars. I know, it's my made-up word. You're welcome. Exemplars, disciplers, mentors, ministers, people. See, I made sure my kids, I was always making sure, hey, you don't want, because it just happens. One day they learn you don't know nothing. But your friend probably knows something, so I want to talk to them. Go talk to them. I told my kids, go talk to her. Go talk to him. Yeah, he's a baseball coach. He probably knows some stuff. I trusted him. And then my kids are going to these people, and I'm like, awesome. Because they were my come-alongsiders. They were the people that were going to do the work that I couldn't do. Setting the example. I was trying to, but just the position changed for me. In chapter 3, Eli becomes that person. An unknown. Sir, do you remember me? Several years ago, I was here. Yeah, bro, I'm the priest in the temple. I see so many faces. Don't remember you, babe. Sorry. He probably didn't call her babe. All right. Elkanah's standing right there. But he's like, no, like, I don't remember you. You know how many faces I've seen? And you said several years ago? Like, I don't remember you. Yeah, well, now you will. This kid is yours. Wait, what? Yeah, remember you thought I was drunk and I wasn't drunk. I was crying out to the Lord. Oh, I remember that. This kid. And then later, and then we got to see it Thursday, Friday. Samuel, speak, Lord, your servant is listening. Eli taught him that. Eli continued what Hannah was already doing. Now let me teach you how to listen to the Lord. You know how to worship the Lord, it's right there. Now I'm going to teach you how to listen to the Lord because I'm the priest in the temple. And the Lord speaks. Eli becomes that person. You may become that person. Maybe you're the aunt. I had people in our lives raising our kids. We had all kinds of aunts and uncles that weren't aunts and uncles. Surrogate grandparents. My parents lived out of town. My bride's parents lived on the East Coast. So we needed surrogate grandparents to bring gummy bacon and eggs. Because, see, right now, I got kids on the East Coast, so I'm a surrogate grandpa. Here's some scrambled eggs, baby. You're going to love that right now. Sugar. And then send them home with you. But here's what happens. It's not just relatives. It's coaches, teachers, volunteers. Here's the last one. You. I told you I'm coming straight at you this morning. I need volunteers. That's literally, I saw this and I go, I know what I'm teaching on. Each morning when I go down that hallway, each Sunday morning, 2 of our classes are closed because we just don't have volunteers. Nobody's watching 2 and 3-year-olds. Nobody's watching 4 and 5-year-olds. So watch this. Imagine this. You're the teacher. You are teaching elementary school, 1st through 6th grade. It's children's church model where it's like this, all ages in a space together. But since we don't have anybody to teach the 2 and 3-year-olds, we're going to put them in with the 1 to 2-year-olds, the babies, and 3-year-olds with babies that crawl. You can see the conflict, right? Then the 4-year-olds we're going to put in with the 6-year-olds. 4 and 5-year-olds going with the older kids. And the older kids are like, why is that child touching my stuff? Right? Who's in charge of that person there, that little person? They're annoying me, right? So we just close down 2 of the classes. I'm coming at you straightforward. I'm asking. We need volunteers. I'm asking that after being fed all week long, you fed yourself all week long. I'm hoping that you come in here and are fed again. I'm hoping that there's another voice that says, hey, you could do it. God is on your side. Trust him. Trust him. Trust me. God loves you. And so that's what this is. I've been telling us, right? It's all trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. God's trying to get that through to us. And we're like, I'll trust me. I want that and 2 of those and supersize that one. We just don't trust him. But I'm hoping after you feed yourself all week, you come in this room and you're fed again. You're encouraged again. Hey, you could do it. God's on your side. Trust him. Put your faith in him. My question today is, after reading and feeding yourself all week, would you consider feeding here? Would you consider what we call sit one, serve one? Would you consider, I could do a 2-service thing. Watch this. I talked to Pastor Scott. He's going, I just need people twice a month. We rotate them in and out because that age group just needs herding, not herd, like cats, herding cats, They just need, hey, here's the craft we're doing and here's this lesson we're doing. They're younger kids. But what he said, he goes, I just need people to rotate every other week. But you know what? We're busy. And so, unfortunately, worship, serving, and trusting because of us as adults. My kids, your kids, our kids. The kids who are going to rule the nation one day. We're watching how that's turning out right now. Maybe after feeding ourselves all of us feeding ourselves all week long, we would come here and our kids would hear your voice saying, you can do it. You got it. Come on. Let's go, let's go. You can do it. Our kids ministries just need rotational workers. Jesus saw a crowd. I'm going to read this to you, but I want to change the context. I'm just going to change the crowd. You'll get, it's okay, I'm not committing any kind of heresy. The crowds are going to be kids, because I think it's going to describe some kids. Watch this. When he saw the kids, all these children, he had compassion on them because, watch this, they were confused and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. Sounds like kids, huh? Well, sounds like a lot of adults. Confused and helpless. Well, like I said, our kids are following our lead. We act confused and helpless. Our kids go, I don't know. You always use that word, that phrase, I don't know, right? They're confused and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. So he says to his disciples, he is Jesus, the harvest is great, but the workers are few. That's where I'm sticking this morning. So pray to the Lord who's in charge of the harvest. Ask him to send more workers into his harvest. I'm asking you to answer my prayer, because I've been praying to the Lord of the harvest. I need workers. I need workers in the harvest. And instead, we're putting little kids in with older kids and older kids in with younger kids because we can't. I'm like, we want to have this during first service, but nobody will volunteer. And I'm like, but there's parents who are going, I would like to get to first service, but I can't because there's no child care. And I don't want to have my kid in here because this is the adult time, whatever, okay? I'm asking, would you answer my prayers? There's a new generation of young individuals who are confused and helpless. And they need us. They need us to go, hey, you can do it. Trust him. Put your faith in him. Hey, watch, I'm going to worship. You can worship with me. Do your children see you worship at home? Those who have kids, grandchildren, nephews, nieces, I don't know who it is. Do they see you worship? Do you see you serve? Imagine these young children seeing our example, serving. Here, let me get your snack. Here, we're going to have our worship time. Let me get you the crayons. Serving them. Like, oh, so I can serve this person next to me. That's what happens in our classroom. By seeing our example, they choose to trust, to serve, to worship. Because of our example, just imagine for a moment. Today, I'm boldly asking you to answer my prayer to the Lord who's in charge of the harvest. Would you consider to be sent as workers into this field, into this harvest? Boldly, I'm asking, if you have been made a disciple, would you consider making a disciple? That's what a disciple is, right? Everybody knows that. A disciple is someone who makes disciples. That's what a disciple is. I can't call myself a disciple if I'm not making disciples. I'm simply asking with our children to sit one, serve one. I have one question for us this morning as we're going to go into rows to circles. Rows to circles. Here's the question. What's something you learned as a kid by watching the adults around you? I know some of you are like, you don't want to know. I know. We're going to have a little conversation. Turn around and let's talk to each other. What's something you learned as a kid by watching the adults around you? Good or bad? Good or bad? What's something you learned? Good or bad, what is something you learned as a kid from the adults around you? What did you learn? What did Uncle so-and-so teach you when you were little? Sense of humor. Not a sense of humor. That's right. Oh, the things we were taught. Okay. Let's get your attention back up here. How do you do? Here's the difficulty of that question. Would you pull that question up for me, John? Here's the difficulty of this conversation that we're having. If you pull that question up, thanks, John. Notice I could have just asked what stood out to you today. But I went to the danger zone, right? Because some of you, some of us in the room are going, you don't want to know some of the stuff I learned as a little kid. Got my first joint when I was 8 years old. Got drunk when I was 10 because my uncle gave me all this alcohol. I learned all kinds of, my first introduction to pornography was, listen, the list goes on. Listen, beloved, please hear me. Beloved, please hear me. I realized there's pain in this question. There's pain in that question. this has led to lifelong addiction. The answer to this question, some of us have lifelong addictions because of the answer to this question. I know. I purposely did this. And you're thinking, why would you do that? Because I think there are things that we have to unlearn. And I think there's a way to unlearn them. And that's us having an Eli in our life. Having someone who's dedicated to showing you the way. I realize there's pain. There's pain connected to this question. I also realize, beloved, please hear this. There's some amazing things you have forgotten. You forgot how generous your grandma was. She gave it all away. You forgot how your brother, he would fix anybody's car. He didn't even care. He just liked engines. So anybody's go, oh, it's making this noise. Let me look at it. And you got to go, I need to be like that. I want to call to your memory again. The positive side of this question. You learned some amazing things as kids. We did. We had people in our lives that were sharing. You're like, man, my sister, she just gave things away. She'd buy stuff and then she'd go, oh, I don't need it. Yeah, you can have it. I'm like, you just bought it. Grandma gave stuff away. We have generous people in our lives. And somehow we've become stingy. Let it rest. We were taught generosity, but we've become stingy. And I'm asking, how about we remember some things, some of the good things? Isn't that, I've been telling us, right? As we're reading the Old Testament, page after page, remember, 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 remember. God's going, remember what I taught you. And I think we were taught some really cool things as kids, but we were taught some crazy stuff too. We have some unlearning to do. We have some relearning to do. I know that I purposely put up a painful question, but it's with the hope that you will also see, actually, I had some really good things that I was taught when I was a kid. I just need to bring them back into the pull-down menu. I'm asking today, boldly, would you come serve our kids? That's my big ask. I said big ask in the first service, and they went, I said, there was a K on the end. I know. Ask. My big ask today is, would you consider serving our children? Pastor Scott says, yeah, like twice a month. Like just every other week, just so I can get some people in there. Because right now, he's in class. He's never in service because he watches service online because he has to cover for people that are supposed to be there and don't show up, and then people that just haven't signed up. So I'm asking, would you consider it? He's out here in the entryway after service. Consider that. Just ask the Lord. Go home. Listen, I'm not asking. I'll say it the way Paul said it. Don't do anything under pressure. Ask the Lord. Have I been discipled? Is it time for me to disciple? Have I been taught? Is it time for me to teach? We need help. Our parents need help. That's why my bride and I, we brought our kids. Boop, there they go. Lord, we are going to mess this up big time without your help and without your help. So here I am. As we go into worship this morning, would you do me a favor and imagine a group of 3-year-olds watching you? Imagine he's just been weaned. Several years ago, I made this promise. You did the math. You decided how old. Imagine a group that age just going, so show me what worship is. Show me. What does that look like? 10-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds who are trying to figure out life and they think they already figured it out. Show them what would worship look like if you were to share, this is what worship looks like. This is what service looks like. This is what it means to walk in trust. We're going to go into a time of worship. If you need prayer, Pastor Wendy's over here. Please come get prayer. I don't know what you've been facing, but some of us had a hard week. Come get some of that relieved. Let somebody pray for you. You would be amazed how with not telling them anything, they will pray exactly what you needed to hear. That's the encouragement I'm talking about. Is like somebody just decided, I'll pray for people. And all of a sudden the Lord starts talking through them. God's talking through them, teaching us. Like, I didn't even have to tell you anything. You prayed exactly what my problem was this last week. I needed to hear that. Listen, that God hears you, God sees you. That's what happens over in that room. Father, I thank you for this time today. I thank you for your word that guides us and leads us. Bless our worship in Jesus' name. Let it be so. Let it be so. I'm taking off to go see the kids. Bye.